On September 1st, 2025, Ukraine's security service, the SBU, filed one of its most direct indictments against Ramzan Kadyrov, the powerful head of Russia's Chechen Republic. The charges accuse him of war crimes under Article 438 of Ukraine's Criminal Code. At the center of the case is a chilling allegation that Kadyrov ordered Ukrainian prisoners of war to be placed on rooftops of military facilities in Chechnya, deliberately turning them into human shields. The SBU says this was not an isolated remark, but part of a broader directive, one that also included instructions to execute Ukrainian soldiers on the battlefield, rather than take them captive. The SBU notes that Kadyrov himself described this practice in videos, suggesting that prisoners be armed and stationed on rooftops to guard Russian territory. Investigators argue these actions breach the Geneva Conventions, which explicitly prohibit using prisoners of war to deter enemy attacks.
Ramzan Kadyrov ordered Ukrainian soldiers not to be taken prisoner, but to be executed on the battlefield. He further demanded that prisoners of war be placed on rooftops of military facilities in Grozny, turning them into human shields against drone strikes. Such conduct constitutes a grave violation of international humanitarian law and qualifies as a war crime under Article 438 of Ukraine's Criminal Code. Security Service of Ukraine, Sept. 1, 2025.
The evidence comes from Kadyrov's own words. On October 29, 2024, just days after a Ukrainian drone attack on the Russian Special Forces University in Gudermes, he announced on Vynak TV a brutal directive to his men. No prisoners were to be taken, only killed. Weeks later, in a Telegram video, he went further, suggesting that captured Ukrainians be placed on rooftops to guard Russian positions.
I ordered my commanders who are fighting on the front line to not take prisoners, kill all enemy forces and step up the fighting, put the captured Ukrainians on the roof, let them guard our territories, give them good weapons. War is about killing. You went out to kill, to die. Ramzan Kadyrov, Oct 29 and Dec 4, 2024.
For nearly 2 decades, Ramzan Kadyrov has stood among President Vladimir Putin's most trusted allies. After his father's assassination in 2004, Kadyrov was installed as Chechnya's leader and built his own paramilitary, the Akhmat forces, into one of Russia's most visible fighting units. Moscow rewarded him with autonomy, subsidies worth billions, and promotions that cemented his power. In return, Kadyrov pledged loyalty, deploying Akhmat fighters not only in Ukraine, but also in Syria and other conflict zones where Russia needed boots on the ground.
Since the beginning of the special operation, 5,500 fighters, including 21,600 volunteers, have been sent to the zone. At the moment, there are more than 11,000 fighters in the zone, from the Ministry of Defense, the Russian Guard, Special Forces AMAD.
The Chechen people are hard-working, talented, and you, as the head of the Republic, can be proud of the results of the work done. They undergo very good training, high level, and they fight well. They still fight.
But as Kyiv pressed charges, Grozny pressed back. On September 2nd, Apti Alodinov, the commander of Akhmat Special Forces, issued his response on Telegram. A hero of Russia and Kadyrov's closest military ally, Alodinov framed the war as more than a geopolitical conflict. He described it as a spiritual struggle, casting Russia's fight as divinely ordained.
Today it is a war between good and evil, between God's army and the devil's army. Russia shall be. The Akhmat unit will endure any hardship, any climate, and any challenge. Unlike psychologically weak Western armies, we will not retreat. We simply will not allow Ukraine to take historically Russian territories.
His message left no doubt. Akhmat forces remain fully committed to Kadyrov and to Moscow's campaign in Ukraine. Since the invasion of Ukraine in 2022, the Akhmat unit has played an active role across several key fronts. They fought in Kyiv, advanced into Kursk, and became known for their visibility on the battlefield as well as on social media. Ukrainian reports accuse them of brutality, including executions and intimidation, but Akhmat commanders emphasize discipline and resilience, portraying their fighters as uniquely prepared for the harshest conditions of war. Whether in direct combat, counterinsurgency missions, or psychological operations, Akhmat has been one of the most recognizable elements of Russia's campaign. Ukraine's charges against Ramzan Kadyrov introduce a powerful new element to the conflict. For Kyiv, it is about documenting violations and building a legal case that could resonate beyond the battlefield. For Grozny, it is about rejecting those accusations and projecting loyalty, strength, and defiance. Two opposing narratives now clash. One rooted in law and international convention, the other in loyalty and military resolve.